Spectacular fireworks display planned for Uptown tonight will take you behind the scenes.
Live from Uptown Charlotte, it's the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte Special. Tonight, a look and listen and a taste of what's happening today at WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte. Plus, a visit with guitarist and singer Daryl Rice. From Switzerland to the Queen City, she's entertained thousands. And how kids are getting into the act at WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte.
Coming up in just a few seconds, more of the sounds of trumpeter Maynard Ferguson and his Big Bop Nouveau Band, live from WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte, appearing now on the Penguin Park stage. Good evening, and welcome to WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte from 4th Ward Park, renamed Penguin Park for this festival, one of the largest free jazz events in the country.
And boy, Maynard Ferguson is hot. He's got the crowd going here tonight. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, including some live interviews with some of the folks you'll hear performing here at Penguin Park and some of the other stages as well. And we'll also tell you how you can get the most out of the weekend, some of the easier ways to get in and out of the area, and where to put the kids and that kind of thing.
Right, but first, for those of you who haven't been able to experience this jazz jam firsthand, our reporter Joey Pop has put together a sample of what you've been missing.
If you're looking for leisure, go no further. It's here. And what's new to look out for this year? Several things. At the Jazz Village stage, you'll be happy to see these chairs right on Trade Street, courtesy of a local company.
Last year we spent a lot of time standing up and having to sit on the corner and whatnot, but having the chairs is really nice.
And this is nice too. Free bottled water in the food court area. So where do you spend your money? Of course here, and perhaps here. Souvenirs are selling well, and expect to pay at least $2 to park. And what makes this festival different from Spring Fest and even First Night? Well, in addition to the music, people will tell you.
I think it's a more sophisticated crowd, interesting, less crowded.
The weather's usually a little nicer, a little bit cooler, and it's just relaxing, good thing to do on the weekend, something different.
And here's something different too. As you stroll through the sounds of Uptown Jazz, don't miss this inside exhibit. The new Carillon building on Trade Street is proudly showing off its front lobby art sculpture called the Cascade. Truly a one-of-a-kind. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. A cultural event in more ways than one. Joey Pop, News 36.
Indeed, he is right. If you are wondering why this park has been renamed Penguin Park for this festival, it's because of the Penguin Club, which is a group of loyal fans who dearly support this jazz festival.
And if you think this is the kind of fun that sounds like something you'd enjoy, you might want to join us here tomorrow if you can't make it down here tonight. It is a great time, some fantastic music to be heard here. And here's a little bit about where you can locate all that jazz. Now this year, WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte's in a more compact area uptown. The site's bordered by West Trade Street and 7th and by Church and Pine Streets. Now, 3 stages host 16 acts tomorrow. The largest is right here, the Penguin Park stage in 4th Ward Park. You can hear them belt out the blues at the Back Porch Blues stage in Settler Cemetery Park. And this year, the Jazz Village stage is at a more open location on West Trade next to the new Carillon building. And you can find Kids Jazz and the Gospel Tent adjacent to Settler Cemetery Park.
Okay, a lot of people, all those events and things, thinking parking might be a problem. No problem. There are lots of lots along the perimeter of the festival site. Most cost just $2 to $3 to park all day long. A couple of other notes, you can bring a lawn chair if you like, but chairs are already provided at the Jazz Village stage and the Gospel Tent. But you'll have to leave your dog home. City ordinances, folks, prevent animals. They prohibit animals at the festival.
Well, we said we'd have live interviews with some of the performers, and we do have one now. Andy Narell joins us now. He's a steel drummer, and I think a lot of people wonder, Andy, just how steel drums make their way into a jazz band.
Well, it's kind of, actually, when I first started playing, there wasn't really anything like that happening, and most of the music involving steel drums is from the Steel Band, which is from Trinidad, and where all the instruments from soprano all the way down to bass are all steel drums, and then there's just rhythm. And I grew up in New York, and I started playing this when I was a little kid. And as a teenager, I got into jazz and wanted to figure out how to use this as an improvising voice and how to play that kind of music. I just started working on that idea and then going down to jazz clubs in the village and sitting in and trying to get involved in those kinds of contexts. And eventually, I decided to start a band where it could be used as an improvising and melodic voice.
Andy, you mentioned Trinidad and the steel drums. You grew up in New York City, as you said. How did somebody from New York City get into steel drums in the first place?
It's kind of the luck of coincidence. You know, my dad was a social worker, and he was doing community center work with gangs in Harlem and the Lower East Side, and he was always looking for programs that would get kids involved and into the center. And he there was a guy who wasn't working out at another job, and they asked him what else he could do, and he said, you know, I'm from Antigua, I know how to play steel drums and make them. So they decided to experiment with a program, and he taught one group of kids, and they went out, and next thing, all the kids in the neighborhood were coming and saying, we want to do that too. And so he had a real good program on his hands, and he had about 20 bands and started spreading around the settlement houses around the Lower East Side. And my brother and I would go down and hang out. We wanted to do it too. I was about 7 or 8 years old when I started.
Oh, that's terrific. And you're actually a voice now for the kids of today's generation. You know, you're an inspiration in a way.
Well, you know, everybody, we do what we can, you know, and I try to stay involved with kids. I'm always involved on some level, at least some of my time with teaching. And I have my own kids now, so I do less of that, and it's like less free time to do stuff like that. But
you're from the Northeast, Andy. How about Jazz Charlotte? Are you hearing about it up there in the Northeast? Is word of the event spreading?
I don't live in New York anymore. I'm on the West Coast near San Francisco. I'm not sure if this is really that well-known a festival all over the country. I mean, I heard about it because I'm touring all the time, and this is what's known as a good gig, you know.
It's on the circuit, so to
you know,
speak, right?
Yeah, it's a good place to play, you know. And Charlotte's a big town with a real interested audience. But as far as you know, everybody hearing about this festival, say like, you know, the Newport, New York, or something like that, or the Montreux Jazz Festival, or Berlin. I don't know if it's an internationally famous festival yet.
You know what,
but I'm sure it's only a year or two away.
Spread the word,
we'll tell everyone.
We're counting on you, Andy.
Right.
Thanks for being with us here
Thank
tonight.
you.
All right.
Okay, and we'll have more in just a moment.
Just ahead on the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte special, a little food for the body today and some food for the soul tonight. A live preview of this evening's jam session when the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte special continues.
The WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte special, brought to you by Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch, Mercedes-Benz, and Seagram's Tropical Selection Coolers.
I mean, what was I supposed to say? Can I test drive the red one?
If you've never talked to a Mercedes dealer, you've probably got a lot of questions.
And anyway, I didn't have time to get over there.
So I said, I'll bring it over, the red 190, right to your office.
Yeah, well.
But the question that's the hardest to ask,
I mean,
it's often the easiest to answer.
Should I afford it?
Bottom line, the new 190 is $29,850.
That's it? This red one?
Yep. And answering your questions, that's free.
It's a cooler world, a cooler street, a cooler wave and a cooler sea. What? It's a Seagram's world.
Introducing Seagram's Tropical Selection.
It's a cooler crowd, a cooler place. Yeah, yeah. A cooler taste. Delicious. It's a Seagram's. It's a cooler world.
New Tropical Selection, only from Seagram's.
It's a cooler world.
Big news from the Money Store. Home equity loans as low as 8.5%.
Bill Rizzuto here for the Money Store with the great summer special for qualified homeowners. Now get a fixed rate home equity loan as low as 8.5%. That's right, 8.5%. And your low rate is locked in for the life of the loan. Use the money to pay off your bills, make home improvements, buy a new car. It's up to you. Call 1-800-LOAN-YES. The Money Store, where America goes for money.
One of the most popular items in crafting is the grapevine wreath. Each year, I'm amazed at the new uses the Michaels creative team discovers for grapevines. Just look at this spiral grapevine. They're easy to create and make great hanging decorations. You can trim them with mushroom birds and greenery or add perma-dried flowers for color. These are but a few of the ideas for grapevines on display at Michaels. Come and find your favorite. There's no place like Michaels for autumn creations.
You know, if you come to Uptown Charlotte to enjoy the great sounds of WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte, come hungry. I think time to forget about your diet because there's a lot of selection down here, isn't there, Tom?
Yeah, throw the diet out the window. And as a matter of fact, our reporter Kurt Lee has been out about the grounds, and he's found out that your greatest concern may be just trying to figure out what foods to sample.
I want to have a good, big, square meal here at Jazz Charlotte, and I don't want to spend any more than $10. Let's see what happens. Okay. Here's $10, and there's 20 tickets. Let's see what we have here. How much?
Roasted corn, 3 tickets. Ribs, 7 tickets.
How are those ribs?
Excellent. Excellent. Want a bite?
What do you have here?
Cajun chicken.
How much?
7 tickets.
Good.
Italian sausage here, 7 tickets. New York hot dog, 4 tickets. Local hot dog here, 3 tickets.
Barbecue, Southern Style Barbecue, lemonade, iced tea.
How much is a Coke?
2 tickets. I get Cokes for the people in the beer trucks and the people over in the ticket booths.
Do the people in the beer trucks have a beer runner?
No, they're not allowed to drink beer.
We got sausage, chicken fajitas, and Philly steaks.
How many tickets?
Each one's 7 tickets.
Real Philly.
That means good.
Yeah.
Very delicious. You're on television. Let me clean you up a little bit.
Coke, 2 tickets. Fries, 2 tickets. Chicken pita, 7 tickets. Brownie, 4 tickets. And I still have 5 tickets left, so it looks like $10 is too much for lunch at Jazz Charlotte. Seven.
Thanks. Yum.
$10.
Need ketchup?
You need $10 to have lunch at Jazz Charlotte. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, I think it's time for a break. Let's go get something to eat. What do you say?
Exactly. You know, you heard all the testimonials there. The food is definitely out there if you're interested. We're in Uptown Charlotte, of course, Penguin Park, which is easy to find. I mean, just follow your ear, I guess. Yeah. And we'll be right back in just a moment.
Next on the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte Special. Charlotte's own Daryl Rice, fresh from a tour in Switzerland. She comes home to wow the crowds. A look at what makes this talent tick when the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte Special continues.
It's a cooler world, a cooler street, a cooler wave and a cooler sea. What? It's a Seagram's world.
Introducing Seagram's Tropical Selection.
It's a cooler crowd, a cooler place. Yeah. Yeah. A cooler taste. Delicious. It's a Seagram's. It's a cooler world.
New Tropical Selection, only from Seagram's.
It's a cooler world.
One thing about Phil, he's not the impulsive type.
It's me again.
Every weekend he'd visit our Mercedes showroom.
That's me again, huh?
One day he'd look at a 300 SEL, another day a 420.
Me again.
But he never took one for a drive. Last Friday he calls me up.
It's me again.
He learned that they're not building this S-Class anymore, so he has to drive the 420 SEL. By 4 o'clock, he came in, he drove the car, he signed the papers. You know, weekends just won't be the same without him.
In September magazines, you'll find a shoebox greetings envelope that's worth a free shoebox card. Simply pull the envelope off the page and bring it to Hallmark. For your trouble, you'll get the free shoebox card of your choice. Excuse me. Just for bringing in this incredibly well-stuck envelope. Well.
Look in September magazines and bring in the envelope for your free shoebox card. It's that easy.
You go ahead, I'll catch up.
What's more natural than natural light?
When the feast runs deep, fresh and flavorful, what's more natural than Natural Light beer? Because where there's good food and good times, it's always natural. Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch. Just naturally right with all those good things from the sea you love to eat. So when you really put something into a meal,
What's more natural than natural light?
Well, there's some back porch blues there. Maynard Ferguson talking with the jazz fans here in Penguin Park. And remember, you don't have to wait until tomorrow to hear some really great jazz.
Rick Jackson is standing by live now at the Jazz Village stage, and he's talking to a couple of people who can shed some light on exactly what kind of entertainment we're going to see this weekend. Rick?
Hi, Tom and Jesse. We've got the Montreux Band about to play behind us, but right now I've got a great guest to talk to, Skeeter Brandon. He's the lead man with Highway 601, been together for about a year now. Skeeter, welcome to Charlotte. I understand you've been playing over at Ty's last night and tonight. You're just having fun, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, sure is.
How do you describe, for people who haven't heard you before, your music? I've heard it. It's a lot of fun is one way I'd put it. How would you put it?
Yes, it's a lot of fun, and it's very exciting. It's very thrilling, you know. It has a lot of feeling.
Tell us a little bit about the band, how you got together, and who's in it.
We have Danny Dixon on drums. We have Martin Lenchek on lead guitar, and Christopher Grant on bass, and yours truly, Skeeter Brandon, on keyboard and vocal.
Keyboard and vocals. One of the songs I heard you singing was about soap operas.
Right.
Where on earth did that come from?
Well, I like to check out a lot of soap operas during the day when I'm not busy, and I just sat down and wrote the song, you know, just of all the soap operas that I've, you know, listened to.
And folks, you got to hear this. He works the title of every single soap on NBC and ABC and CBS right into it. It's pretty amazing. What's your most fun on the new disc? What's the most fun song for you to play?
Rockin' with the Blues.
Okay, we're going to hear that tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, folks, come on out to WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte tomorrow, because Skeeter Brandon and Highway 601, just one of the many featured acts. And you guys are going to rock for, what, an hour, hour and a half?
Yeah, an hour.
That sounds good. That sounds real good. A lot of fun over here on this stage right in front of Caroline. Come on down. Tom and Jesse, I know you're having fun on the big stage. Let's throw it back over there.
Okay. But you know, one of the local jazz artists performing this weekend here at WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte is also becoming a very hot name over in Europe.
Well, that name is Daryl Rice. It's kind of a surprising moniker, actually, for a woman. A lot of times you think it might be a man when you hear the name, but, you know, there are a lot of surprising things about Daryl Rice, as Peggy Fox found out.
She's not proud. This jazz singer-guitarist will even carry and set up all of her own equipment.
Because I'm too cheap to pay someone else to, you know. Yeah, that is it. I'm too cheap to pay someone.
Daryl Rice is often a one-woman show in Charlotte night spots.
It's Daryl Rice, the roadie. And then, you know, brush the hair back. Daryl Rice, the performer.
Rice is a Charlotte tradition. She's been entertaining jazz fans here for 12 years. But she also has a strong following now in Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. She toured Europe several times this year, and she's just returned from playing a festival in southern Switzerland. Now Rice is back home just in time for WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte. She has several original tunes. In this one, she gets straight to the point.
This is a song about my married life.
She's happy to be playing at Jazz Charlotte this weekend. It's a festival Rice sees as an important cultural event for Charlotte.
Well, for me, I mean, I think it's that cultural side that we need in the city, where it brings the people together, because music is such a common denominator.
A common thread through Rice's musical upbringing was jazz singer Dinah Washington. Her show this weekend is a tribute to Washington. Peggy Fox, News 36.
Thank you.
Boy, isn't she great? If you'd like to hear more of Daryl Rice, join us tomorrow at 1:30 on the Jazz Village stage. That's the Jazz Village stage here at WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte. She is going to perform her tribute to Dinah Washington then. Now, the Jazz Village stage is on West Trade Street near Poplar.
And there is even more music, if you can believe it, for you to look forward to tomorrow. And here are some of the highlights.
On Sunday, Grammy Award-winning keyboardist Ramsey Lewis takes the Penguin Park stage at 1:45. Now, this artist's combined elements of gospel, rhythm and blues, as well as pop music, have brought him 3 decades of success.
At 3 o'clock, catch the Gospel Jamboree, featuring, among others, the all-male chorus of Blacksburg, South Carolina. Just listen for the soulful sounds coming from the gospel tent.
And you can catch Buddy Collette at 3:30 on the Penguin Park stage for a program called Dreams Come True. He'll be joined by Chico Hamilton and others for this performance. Sounds like a dream come true for jazz fans.
And she's been playing since she was 5. The self-taught pianist, singer, and saxophonist, Deanna Bogart, performs at 5 on the Penguin Park stage.
Labeled the Sassy Swingers, the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, along with the group Triad, will wrap up the jazz weekend in Charlotte, and they will hit the Penguin Park stage at 6:30.
And Kids Jazz will feature a work songs fun shop and a gospel talk with Cleveland Young of the Gospel Christian Singers. Catch these events throughout the day at Settler Cemetery Park and the Gospel Tent.
Last year, about 5 seconds after we finished this broadcast, the heavens opened. So I guess we have to ask, will Mother Nature cooperate?
Well, that is the big question. Is Mother Nature a jazz fan this weekend? Dr. Joe Conway is at the Jazz Village stage. Joe?
Boy, and it sure has been a wonderful day. You couldn't have asked for nicer weather. We've got clear skies out here now. We've got a nice little breeze. We had a little bit of cloudiness earlier this morning. Let's take a look at the satellite map, and you'll be able to see what I mean. Let's look at the satellite map over the past 18 hours. You see we had a little bit of thicker cloudiness during the early part of the day, but by late evening, or correction, early evening, it has started to clear out, and it's going to be a darn nice night tonight. Let's take a look at the forecast. Tonight, we might just see a few clouds moving on through, but generally we're going to have low humidity like we had today, a low temperature down to 67 degrees, so it's going to be very comfortable. So there's still some activities going on this evening, so you might want to come down. And then for Sunday, well, if you weren't able to come out today, Sunday is going to be another great day. Partly sunny. Humidity level, once again, will be down fairly low. We'll have a nice breeze, and we're looking for a high temperature of about 86 degrees. So if you weren't able to come out to WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte today, and you have to come out tomorrow, well, expect some great weather and some great music once again. Let's go back to Tom and Jesse.
All right.
No rain tonight on Maynard Ferguson. Wow.
Isn't he terrific? Boy, he is. Can you jam with the trumpet? I guess so.
Yes.
For lack of a better word. Stay with us. We'll have a lot more coming up in a minute.
Coming up on the WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte Special. Do you know any of these young musicians? How kids and jazz mix at WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte.
Hey, Jim, burgers ready?
Just one more dash of my homemade hot sauce. Ah, perfect.
Hot sauce?
Marinated the chili peppers myself.
Hot sauce?
Ah, just the way I like them. Where there's good food and good times, it's only natural. Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch.
Tasty. Anybody seen my hat?
Germac new shampoo. I've got Germac bounce back beautiful hair. New Germac bounce back beautiful hair.
Your hair can't be this beautiful unless it's strong. Germac's new shampoos and conditioners bring new strength to your hair. Strength to bounce back beautiful.
I've got Germac bounce back beautiful hair. New Germac bounce back beautiful hair.
Here's another way Food Line can sell groceries for less than other supermarkets. Statistics show it costs the average supermarket 21 cents out of every dollar of sales to operate a store. It costs us 14 cents out of every dollar of sales to operate a Food Line store, 7% less. That means it costs us 1/3 less to sell you this can of corn than the average supermarket. That's what extra low prices mean for you. Extra low prices that add up to big savings in every Food Line store.
Don't leave that shower fresh feeling behind. Here's Ben.
It's that feeling, that shower fresh feeling. Keep that shower fresh feeling with Ben all day.
I just got myself a new roommate and put a little color in my life.
Introducing Renews It Roommate Air Freshener in decorator colors. And Roommate has a unique freshening formula that lasts over 60 days.
What's really beautiful is how long my roommate lasts.
I mean, what was I supposed to say? Can I test drive the red one?
If you've never talked to a Mercedes dealer, you've probably got a lot of questions.
And anyway, I didn't have time to get over there.
So I said, I'll bring it over, the red 190, right to your office.
Yeah, well.
But the question that's the hardest to ask,
I mean,
is often the easiest to answer.
Should I afford it?
Bottom line, the new 190 is $29,850.
That's it? This red one?
Yep. And answering your questions, That's free.
We are back. We're at the Penguin Park stage. Now the mellow sounds. Wafting forth from the stage here, Maynard Ferguson is playing, and boy, his whole group's tremendous. And you don't have to leave the kids at home. A lot of people concerned. Well, there is no reason to do that. In fact, bring the kids along. There is even a special place for them where they might even meet some of the jazz musicians here this weekend.
There is indeed. As a matter of fact, I saw some of them do just that today over at the Kids Jazz area, which is just a skip and a hop from 4th Ward Penguin Park here. Today they shared some time with the kids. The musicians did. It's great fun. It's also important to the future of jazz.
In a word, jazz is unique, beginning with its beat. Kids jazz is no different. Youngsters get a chance to make their own unique percussion instruments. There is also jazzy art to be drawn. And kids can also become pretend musicians. So as you can see here at the Kids Jazz area of WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte, it's a mixture of fun, games, and make-believe. But the musicians here will tell you there's a very serious connection between kids and jazz, and the survival of jazz just may depend on it. Musicians are taking their time this weekend to explain their art form to the kids. Preeminent jazz drummer Chico Hamilton says if adults already have their minds made up not to like jazz, there's nothing he can do. But he believes he can keep jazz alive and its popularity growing by getting youngsters involved.
If kids can understand that there is another kind of music, man, such as jazz, then jazz has a future with it.
When Chico spotted a pair of drumsticks in the crowd, he didn't hesitate to invite the 11-year-old holding them to play a few licks, and it made quite an impression on Jonathan Overcash of Charlotte.
You like jazz?
Yes, I do. I like all kinds of music.
You like jazz a little more today?
Yes,
after this experience?
Yes, I do.
You know, the little fellow you saw there in the beginning got to keep a pair of Chico Hamilton's drumsticks.
Oh, that's incredible.
He's 6 years old now. I'm sure he'll realize the significance of it as he grows
He'll
up.
treasure them forever. His parents, well, I don't know. For a couple of years
right.
Anyway, they'll question that.
That is true. Well, thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you in person. We'll be down here tomorrow in Penguin Park.
Remember, the bands all start at 11:30. It ends at 7:30. It's all free, and we hope to see you down here. It's a tremendous way to spend the weekend. Good night.
Good night.
The WCNC TV Jazz Charlotte Special, brought to you by Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch, Mercedes-Benz, and Seagram's Tropical Selection Coolers.